Hello, this is Admiral Thrawn, and I'm making here my first Rome Total War commentary online battle. So this here was a three-person free-for-all battle, which, as you may imagine, is kind of complicated to actually pull off. What it involved was I was playing as the Macedonians, and the rules were maximum of 5 cavalry, and apart from that, just CWB. So, anyways, we set up. I decided to go for pretty much almost all pikemen here, as you can see. You see my massive stacks of pikemen. Oh, also it was infinite money, which was kind of fun. So I got them all fully upgraded. And then a whole bunch of companions as well. As you can see here, I decided really, I was hoping to go for a sort of Alexander the Great type of battle here. I mean, obviously I don't pretend to be as good as, like, say, Prince of Macedon or whatever. But I figured I should try and go for that and see what happened. So anyways, this is what I wound up with here. Big double phalanx here, and a whole bunch of cavalry. So here, I'll fast forward. Yeah, get that going a little bit faster for you. You don't have to see me set up my whole army, though I set it up in a double line here. Basically, I didn't know which one I'd be fighting first, so I figured, well, let's get ready to fight both and see what happens. I also deployed my cavalry behind my army here, just in case, so as a precaution. So, yeah, took a little while for everybody else to set up, sadly, but yeah, over here to the right, we have the Germans, and I'll show you their army in a second, and over here to the left we have the Greeks. Now, as you can see with the Germans here, they went for a pretty balanced army, I would say, with some regular infantry, a lot of archers, a fair amount of cav here. I actually think they disobeyed the cav limits here, but that's fine. And then just some actual spear warbands here, and also some screeching women, in fact. Never really got how that worked so well for them, though I guess if you have your wife there on the battlefield saying, "Honey, you're not a man unless you do this," then no, it makes sense that they'd want him on the battlefield. Look at how big those berserkers are. I mean, do they, like, genetically modify them to be like Darth Vader or something? I don't know. Anyways, though, sadly, my opponent, the Greeks, decided to corner camp, which is like, what the hell? But, oh well. So, I fight the Germans first, and then the Greeks can come later. So there's a lot of posturing, and, ooh, I'm so sexy and you're not, and all that sort of stuff. It goes on here. The Germans, though, they send out their cavalry and their archers to go probe my lines. Here, I'll set it back to normal speed. So, they're moving out here. I think they're assuming that I'm going to leave my cavalry behind and that they can get some shots off of my phalanxes. So, their archers are going to stop here. Their cav's going to move around the edge. Yeah. Meanwhile, I have my cav set up into a couple different battle groups, but they're mostly behind my lines right here. And I have my... Also, I'm refuse my flank a little bit here, so it means that they don't have to, like, I'm gonna have some leeway if they try to circle around me. But regardless, though, they keep moving, and they're dividing their force here, which is actually a pretty nice thing. So I start moving my cavalry off to here, because I see that these archers in this cavalry group here are undefended, and I have a feeling my companions can probably take on their cavalry, especially because I have 5 and they only have 3 at the moment in this area. So I start moving them out and around. Well, meanwhile they're shooting at my army, obviously, but I can handle that. I mean, I can take the damage. I've got hundreds and hundreds of troops here, so, I mean, yeah, it's like, I'm not too depleted by this. Plus I'm gold and facing towards them. Anyways, though, so I pull out my cavalry here, and once I'm all fully in position, I go for Rohan and charge into the battlefield. And see, the cavalry here, I catch them while they're currently, like, ranged in a long column trying to get towards me. And I circle my general unit and one other one around, so I hit these guys head on. And then these other two circle around and hit him from the rear. And, sandwich in 5, 4, 3, 3.5, 2, 2.5, 1, 1/2, and there we go. Super sandwich, we mosh into them, and they start breaking. right there. And right there, yep, and they are all running now. That's what I love about companions. They're quick, they're fast, and they pack one hell of a punch. So I route their cavalry. However, as you can see here, they're moving their spear warbands in here, and I'm like, yeah, time to GTFO. Yeah, look at all that dead German cavalry here. Not fun for them. I'd say generally, when you're fighting, especially if you're fighting an army that has a lot of cavalry, you don't want to divide your own cavalry. You probably want to leave it concentrated. Anyways, though, so I run like hell, and let their spear warbands chase after me, because I don't care, I'm faster than them. Yeah, this was a good engagement here with the Cav. Meanwhile, of course, the Greeks are still corner camping, though their cavalry, or is that their cavalry? That's their cavalry. Yeah, that's their cavalry. They're sending their cavalry out to here, which is like, whatever. So I don't really care. I'm gonna see them if they try and get near me, so I can just block them off with my phalanxes. However, meanwhile, the German player, he's moving his forces farther towards me here. So now that I've beaten his cav, he said, okay, I'm gonna go and crush this flank of his phalanx. However, what he doesn't realize is that my cav is now coming back around. So he starts shooting at me point-blank range, and it's like, yeah, I can deal. So I send out my cav to go and crush these guys, and he still isn't moving in his spear warbands to go cover them, so time to charge. I'd really hate to be one of those archers that happens to get left out in front of the cavalry. That would really suck. Anyways, though, so I hit them really hard, smack right across them. One thing I don't get is why people will so oftentimes put their cavalry into like the wedge formation, because I found that the flat formations work really well to just hammer the enemy on all fronts. Anyways, though, so once again the spear warbands start moving in, and I'm like, yeah, time to go. I'm surprised, actually. I never really imagined the Germans would actually have created their own sort of phalanx-like thing. I'm kind of a history nerd, as you may have noticed just by the fact that I play Rome Total War, but I never knew the Germans actually had pseudo-phalanxes. Oh. Anyways, though, so what I do see here is that they have a bunch of other archers that are now undefended, so I start hitting them really hard with my cavalry. And again, I keep outmaneuvering their spear warbands. So basically, I know here I have no archers, so I have to take out their archers as quickly as I possibly can. He's trying to support them with his axemen, but he can't do it. I'm too fast for him. So I move my companions out of there, and he's coming at me with his cavalry, which is pretty scary. So just because I'm already pretty heavily depleted, and I want to save my cavalry for when I fight the Greeks. So I just run for my phalanx, and I think that when he does this, he was too busy commanding the rest of his troops here, because he keeps chasing me here. And while he's doing that, I start running like hell, and my cavalry manages to magically get through my phalanx without dying, because, of course, whenever it's friendly spears, you don't hit them. And his cavalry keeps chasing me, and I believe that they run right into my spearmen. Hooray! Smash. So, yeah, his cavalry just gets slaughtered here, just because they just run right into my big phalanx, and if you've ever played a Total War game, you know cavalry and pikemen do not go well together. It's not a nice combo. Anyways, though, so the Greeks have just started deploying their cavalry up across to this side here. So now I'm kind of getting double-teamed, but I can deal with that. So, also there's a sandstorm, so you can't really see what's going on. But I start refusing my flank here by moving over a lot of reserves. Meanwhile, of course, the Germans are hitting me on the other flank. So basically, I have two big battles on my flanks with a whole bunch of nothing in between. So basically, Gettysburg Day 2. But anyways, though, so they're moving in with their spear warbands and all that, and they're trying. I think they're hoping that their pikemen can beat my pikemen in a stand-up fight, which they probably can't. I mean, these are all royal pikemen with full upgrades, so I'd say they're probably not going to be able to beat me. But anyways, though, so they attack my flank. Meanwhile, I also started reinforcing this flank with my whole second line here, because I had a double line of phalanxes down the middle, and I'm just saying, screw that, I'm just pulling it all off to the sides. Anyways, though, so I start pulling these guys over here. They attack me, of course. Also, though, another thing they're not doing here is they should have brought their remaining cavalry around the flank here to try and sandwich me. but they aren't doing that. Instead, they're leaving their cav way back here in reserve, though they surprisingly still have a lot of it, which is actually one mistake that I made. I assumed they would have no cavalry after what happened to them, but no, they still have a lot of cavalry. Anyways, though, so we got a fight going on here. These guys are not winning against me, just because I got my pikemen, and I start sending my cavalry around for the glorious sandwich making, and yeah, so basically this battle here on this flank is pretty much mine. I hit them with my companions, I smash them, they hold for a little bit, but they rout pretty quickly. Yeah, there they go, they're routing. They send in Aunt Marge to go tell them to fight harder, but fortunately, my cavalry is really good at killing Aunt Marge, and since they are actually fighting, I have no qualms about that. I mean, women are allowed in combat now, so it's okay to kill them in combat. That's probably going to get me banned from YouTube. Sorry, the last 5 seconds did not happen. Anyways, yeah, so their spear warbands here are fortunately all stacked up against my phalanx, and they're already unhappy about having to fight a big giant phalanx, so basically they just get crushed, and they're all routing. However, while I was so happy about that, I did not notice that their cavalry is rushing in to reinforce. So they just smash my companions there. More cavalry comes in here to smash me. So basically this is the big mistake that I made. So I start moving in my phalanxes to go and reinforce. Then, however, their big Schwarzenegger berserkers start charging in here. They do their crazy berserker rage, they go in there. So basically my companions are screwed, plus they're blocking my phalanxes who could actually win this fight really easily. And so my general dies, which sucks. So basically, yeah, my cavalry here just gets mauled, which is really, I'd say, the biggest mistake that I made in this battle. So now I still have my phalanxes pretty much intact, but no cavalry. So anyways, fortunately the Greeks over here, they decided that they didn't want to have to deal with my big refused flank, so they just run away. They're gonna go and get ready for later. Fortunately, I kill their general, and so they start breaking. And this time, finally, their cavalry breaks for good. So, because previously I think they kept coming back from routing, that's why they kept having so much to throw at me. But now they're gone, they're going away. Their chosen archers, they throw them into combat, I defeat them, and basically they all rout. They still have a couple of archers here, which I chase after, but basically I've defeated the Greeks now. However, I've defeated the Greeks and have no cavalry left whatsoever. I've defeated the Germans and have no cavalry left whatsoever. Which basically means that I am now screwed because I have to deal with a whole bunch of Spartan spam from the Greeks. Anyways, though, so, 1 second, is it cool if I talk? Alright, good. Just making sure that my roommate's cool with me being loud and obnoxious talking about Total War. That can be bad for studying habits, just so you know, so ask your roommates about that. Anyways, though, in fact, even my cavalry here, I'm down to 2 companions out of my entire cavalry force, and they run away after seeing the running away archers, because they're that cowardly, and they just got mauled, so it's fair enough. But anyways, though, so, I beat the Germans, and my phalanxes are still intact, and I'm crushing their archers. One thing I like about playing against the human instead of the AI is that when you play against the AI, the archers will basically just run away non-stop, so you have to send your whole army chasing them, which can get really annoying. When you're a human, they have the decency to just sort of say, okay, I've lost the battle already, you can fight my archers head-to-head. You don't have to worry about spending the whole game and hours running across the battlefield chasing them. Anyways, though, so the German player has basically admitted defeat by now, and so we're talking, and he says, hey, tell you what, we'll make a deal, you leave me my archers, and we can sort of team up-ish against the Greeks. I mean, he really can't do that much by now, because he's been slaughtered, but the Greeks have been corner camping, so neither of us is feeling terribly generous towards them, so I say sure. So I eventually leave his archers behind here so that he can keep them and he can shoot the Greeks. Anyways, though, so the Greeks, however, they decide to take their merry time in marching across the battlefield, so I'll speed up in a second here, but I'll just show you their army first. So they still have all their cavalry, they just sent them forward and then brought them back, and so they didn't do much with them. But since this is infinite money and no limitations, of course, Spartans! And so they basically just spam down as many Spartans as they possibly can. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I have no cavalry, so I have no way of effectively sandwiching these guys. And so basically I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? So Actually, being a history nerd has its advantages because it just so happens that this was a problem that many Greek city-states faced, actually. They said, okay, there's too many Spartans, they're too good at fighting, what are we going to do? And so one thing that actually worked quite well was that, I believe it was the... What city was it? It was... I think Corinth, I want to say. One of those cities. Basically, they came up with the idea of loading up one of their flanks really heavily with lots and lots of troops, crushing one of the Spartan flanks, and then moving around the outside. And basically, because the Spartans would basically line up in a big line and fight, and which is really good because they're like the best soldiers in ancient history, apart from, of course, the Romans, who were badasses. But so basically, the idea is just crush one of their flanks and then maneuver around the outside, because phalanxes are really ineffective when it comes to actually maneuvering. So if you can get a flanking movement on them, that's perfect. So basically, I set up my army here by... and also, I've decided I'm not going to go to him. I'm going to let him come to me. I don't want to actually have to march towards him to fight him. So I set things up here where I load up this flank really heavily with lots of troops, and I send even more. This is nothing. All these troops over here, they're marching towards my flank. And so I decided to load this one up really heavily, and then basically create a thin line in the middle here that would I'd let him engage, but I wouldn't actually try and fight very much. And then refuse this flank in case his cavalry decides to charge around. So basically that's my battle plan here. Let him move up into here, and then swing this flank around, crush his flank, and hopefully, because his cavalry is probably going to come around this side, and so refuse this and crush his cavalry when they happen to come around. That being said, he does not want to move at all. Oh, also the Germans have some archers left, so they decide to march out here and start shooting at them, though they don't do very much because, well, they don't have very much left. Still though, I have to say, good game to my opponent here, Miss Skinner. He played a good game as the Germans, and also he was actually willing to stick it out and fight, even though he pretty much lost his army. I mean, most people would have quit by then, so congrats to him. Then, yeah, my Greek opponent, however, what's his name? Kills to go. He decides that he's gonna hold off here. Also, I believe he's the host of the game, so he is holding off with his army. He's going really slowly. In fact, so slowly I'm going to hit fast forward. So basically right now I'm just telling him, hey dude, I'm not going to go out there after you're going to have to come to me. So he eventually starts doing that, but it takes him a little while. Yeah, anyways, what to do. But he's rather slow in moving, which can be rather deadly in war. I mean, just to go on a tangent while he's busy doing that, if any of you guys are familiar with Civil War history, when General McClellan, one of the Union generals, he found the Southern battle plans wrapped around a pack of cigars, and basically the battle plan said, okay, if the Union does this simple little thing, they'll win the war and destroy our army. And so, after reading those battle plans, McClellan's like, I could win the war and destroy their army. Or I could go take a nap, I'm kind of tired. So basically McClellan decided to do nothing at all for a couple of days, during which time Robert E. Lee realized how bad a position his army was in, reformed it, and they fought a big old battle at Antietam, which was the bloodiest single day in the Civil War. Like 32,000 dead, I believe. And eventually the South ran out of troops first, so they ran away. But, basically, it was just, he who hesitates loses. So, unless, of course, you have no cavalry, in which case he who hesitates is a good idea. Anyways, though, so the Germans here, they're still moving around here, hoping to do a little bit of damage on the Greeks, because I think we're both kind of, I wouldn't say pissed off, but miffed at the fact that he hasn't actually fought us yet. But anyways, though, so he's also stopped, and he's going to sit there for a little while, hoping that I'll come to him. But he does move out a unit of archers, like just a single one, to go, I guess, fight the Germans. I'm not sure why he did that, but yeah, he did that. But yeah. Just, anyways. Also, this is, like, yeah, you might want to skip, like, maybe a little bit ahead in the video if you want to get to the actual fighting. But anyways, though, yeah, so I'm actually, in terms of playing Total War Online, I wouldn't say noob, but close to noob, just because I only started playing online battles yesterday, though I've been playing a lot of campaign before then. I'm pretty good at it. I also play a lot of good mods like Third Age and stuff. Like, for those of you who don't know what Third Age Total War is, you have been deprived. 30 Days Total War is the best video game mod of all time, apart from maybe Black Mesa. It is just, basically, it should have been an actual game. In fact, I would say it is better than the actual game, and they could have charged me money for it, I would have paid. In fact, actually, that's actually why I bought Kingdoms on Steam, like Medieval 2 Kingdoms, because I wanted to be able to play 30 Days Total War. It is that good. And also, another good one is Call of Warhammer, which is also a great mod. It's basically Third Age except with Warhammer, which is fun. Alright, anyways, though, so he decides he's tired of the Germans, so he sends out his cavalry. And I was going to tell the German to pull his troops back behind mine so he could block the cavalry, but in the end, there wasn't time. The cavalry was on top of him, so yeah, he's dead. But it's still going to take him a while, because his cavalry doesn't want to fight me, so I'm going to keep it on fast forward here while he maneuvers around doing his thing. Anyways, though, just to mention, my name is Admiral Thrawn in this, because Timothy Zahn is one of the greatest science fiction writers of all time, and Admiral Thrawn is one of the greatest badasses in books of all time. Oh, also, so, I changed my formation a bit here, because I know that his cavalry can go around. So basically, I'm leaving my... Oh, I'm gonna hit play now. I'm leaving my army here, yeah, play. I'm leaving my army here facing forward, but basically I'm in a noob box now, because I can very easily turn my troops around here, so basically I'm hoping his cavalry will come around the back and I'll be able to quickly turn my troops around and face him. Just as a means of tempting him in there, because he sees right now a really good sandwich here where he hits me from behind. I'm going to keep an eye on him so that if he does that I can hit him from behind. I can hit him really hard. Also, his force is pretty much entirely focused towards my center here, so I'm really going to be able to do some good flanking here. Anyways, though he's pretty much stopped here and he's going to use his archers, pretty soon at least he's going to start using his archers. And I've decided I don't want to have to deal with that, so pretty soon I'm going to march forward and try and crush his phalanx. But in the meantime, though, his cavalry has basically gone way out here, and yeah. Yeah, so, anyways, though, as for why I'm called Admiral Thrawn, basically Admiral Thrawn, for those of you who have not heard of the Thrawn trilogy, it basically is the Star Wars saga as it takes place after after Episode 6. It's like there's Episode... I'm gonna put this on double speed. There's Episode 6, and then basically there's a couple years of the Empire basically just getting destroyed, and all that happens, and then finally, about 9 years after Episode 6, the Thrawn trilogy starts, and basically Admiral Thrawn, he was one of the Empire's great super admirals and stuff, and he was off in the unknown regions conquering stuff for the Empire, and he shows up and he's like, "What the hell happened, guys? Seriously?" And also he's basically a super genius. He's basically Sherlock Holmes in command of a Star Destroyer. That he's also an alien, and the Empire hates aliens, but they like him because he is just that awesome. But anyways, though, so he shows up and he's like, okay, we gotta go kill some rebels, and since he's a super genius, he does it really easily. And basically, not that he's actually, in fact, he's a really good, charismatic guy. He just wants to take over the galaxy. And in fact, me and many other Star Wars fans believe that the galaxy would have been better off if Thrawn had won. Anyways, though, so back to the actual Total War stuff. I move my phalanx forward here to try and crush his main line of hoplites, well, more accurately to try and keep them in place. Keep them from moving forward too much, and also to make so his archers don't have the chance to just pepper me for a couple minutes there, which would have been really bad for me. So basically, my whole bulked up phalanx here is moving in, and yeah, I really want to say it was Corinth that came up with this, but oh no, Thebes. Yeah, it was the city of Thebes that came up with the idea of loading up one flank really heavily and just crushing the other side. And so he sees what I'm doing here, so he starts moving his Spartans around to try and stop me. So basically, he's starting to refuse his flank here. Fortunately, I think he's underestimating how many troops I actually have in this big stack. So sure, if I were to just hit him straight on here, I would lose, but I have easily enough to hit him here and then keep on circling around. Also, his cavalry is still holding back there. I'm basically keeping an eye on that thing, hoping that it's not going to actually come hit me, but on the off chance it does, then I'll be ready for it. And finally, I'm also moving these guys around here towards the flank, just so that I will be able to have them turn around and face the cavalry if they try and hit me here. So here I stop for a little bit while I let this flank catch up, because if you recall, they were facing a little bit backwards. But anyways, yeah, so his archers are still peppering me. But I start moving forward, and I actually don't plan on actually engaging his Spartans. I'm just going to basically stop right in front of them and basically sit there, because if I engage them and he wins and it starts a chain route, then I'm screwed. So basically I have my semi-noob box here set up, like my assault noob box I'll call it, because basically I can easily turn it into a noob box if it becomes necessary. But anyways, his cavalry starts moving in here. He sees what I'm doing, and so he's going to come in and try and hit me from behind. So I start trying to engage him. I go out of phalanx mode so I can run my troops in around his flank, and so basically I just start rushing him. And then I go back into phalanx mode as soon as it becomes necessary to actually engage him. But yeah, so I've got a couple units here blocking there, but then I send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units around the flank. So basically these guys here are going for the whole outward flanking maneuver, rushing around the outside, and that's all going good. His cavalry is getting closer, but I can deal with that, because I'm now sending, I'm about to send more guys off to go deal with them. Like, yeah, here, you see I'm turning around here, and so these guys here are currently heading to get back into their correct positions. Now, he makes his big mistake of this game, which I'm not sure why he did it, but basically he thinks he can hit me from behind here, so he just charges right into my phalanx here, and I just start slaughtering his cavalry here. It's really good for me. Basically, they all stack up behind, and I start reinforcing. Meanwhile, I'm back into phalanx formation up here, and basically we're about to sandwich these Spartans here. So we're starting to push here. His cavalry is still trying to break through my initial line here, but I've got my reinforcements coming in, and they're just getting slaughtered. And basically, it's about at this point, coming up very soon at least, that he's gonna terminate the game, just because I think he's the host and he realizes he can't win. So, yeah, there we go. He terminates the game, and since he terminated, I guess that means that I don't get to see the battle results, but basically it was very good. I won, and yeah, that is my first Rome Total War commentary that I'm putting up here. If you got any issues with the way I set this up, or the way that I'm doing the commentary, or suggestions, don't hesitate to leave them. Admiral Thrawn reporting out.